Hi, good evening to you. My name is Paul, and this is my beautiful wife, Wynelle, and we're so glad that you've joined us again for Word Up Wednesday.
Yeah, and we're kind of set out here, aren't we? We've got background of the desert, and it kind of feels like the desert in our flat today.
Yeah, the air conditioning is not working so well.
Oh, so lovely to see a few people already joining us. So hello to Joseph and Louise Menzies and Bethany. Nice to see all of you here. And obviously, we're here to talk about missional lifestyle. And Mark, I see he's joined us from YouTube. Looking good as always, Cowdrees.
Thank you, Mark. I'll pay you tomorrow.
And good evening to Sunny, Linda Rodell, Julie Keeping. Awesome. So we said tonight we were going to break down and talk about a little bit of, we're not going to break down.
We're gonna break down. Not break down. Oh, sorry.
We're gonna break down a little bit of the service on Sunday and talk about just kind of what's going on around in the world, and just some of the things that's happening in missions, but also just would love to hear if you have any testimonies, like recent relevant testimonies of how you've led someone to Christ, or just an introduction to Christ, and they're still not made a decision yet, but something like that. We'd love to hear that from you. So Paul, you want to tell us, so on Sunday, for those of you, I think everyone that's here so far that I can see, and I'm not sure how many out there maybe haven't said hello, from Sunday we showed missionaries from all around the world who shared their stories. But we want to talk, let's start with Niger. So those were personal friends of yours. You want to share a little bit about their story? Because we didn't get a chance really to hear a lot about their background and how long they've been there and what they do.
Well, we saw Neil and his wife there in Niger at the church. And I first came in contact with them when I worked with his parents just for a short while in Nigeria. And they used to come to the UK, and we used to do a lot of tours together. It was in the days when I used to work with the late Archbishop Benson Idahosa. And so I got to know Ron and Jerry. And, Ron and Jerry, they are way up into their 80s.
Wow.
And it is amazing. They are still on the mission field. They were in Nigeria, in Benin City, Nigeria, up until about 25 years ago, when God called them to Niger. Now, and if those of you that know the African states, Niger is quite a stronghold with the Muslims, but God opened up an opportunity there, and they built a lot of churches. I think Neil was telling us about 64 churches now. They got schools, Bible schools, and various things. But over the last few years, there's been a few challenges, and they've actually had, I think, 4 or 5 of their churches just burnt to the ground, where they were attacked by different groups of people that were against the Christians. But the amazing thing is, they have Muslim children in Christian schools. Wow, now that is just something, it was pretty amazing and phenomenal. And they are doing a great work there. And it was so good to see Neil and his beautiful wife there on Sunday, just bringing us a few greetings. And just helping, what they're doing there, helping us to understand what God is doing. And you also noticed what Neil said, at the moment, due to terrorism, they are unable to go out from the capital where they are, but they do have other nationals there, people from Niger that are going out to the villages that can travel more safely. And a little and do what Neil cannot do at the moment, and so they're just focusing their attention on the capital and working out from there with other people. But great, and I love African people. I've grown up with them all, as you know. Bianca always says to me, "I'm a coconut." And dark on the outside and white, and white on the outside and dark on the inside. But I just love the Nigerians, the Ghanaians, all the African nations of the world come together. I just love them, and it's so good to be able to receive that kind of information. I think Ron and Jerry last week they were visiting their daughter and her son, who are ministering in Kenya. The whole
the whole family,
listen,
missionaries.
Let me tell you, the whole family. And so Neil's son, in one of the videos we watched, you probably wouldn't have noticed because it was so quick, but Neil's son was there. He was running around in one of those games. He's there on the mission field. Sarah and her husband, they're working in Kenya now. They've virtually been all over the world as missionaries. And in fact, Sarah's probably about the same age as our Julie. And they're out there, and she's out there with her husband, Scott. Their eldest daughter now just recently graduated. She's gone back to the United States to go into the Navy, and she's gone to the Naval Academy. But man, what a family on fire for God, wanting to see the nations of the world won for Jesus, and Africa is in their blood, and just great. And can I just encourage you, during your prayer time, pray for the Africans. Pray for the African nations. Pray for those missionaries out on the field, putting their life on the line every day to bring people. Thank you, Wynelle, for that. And
I didn't mean to mute you. I was just going to change the settings here because they're saying it's cutting in and out. So
okay, and bringing people. And it's so great to see those young children. I always love it when I'm in Africa or see pictures of Africa. School children, they always wear a school uniform. Did you notice those kids? They had green uniforms on, yellow uniform, all dressed the same, just enjoying life and soaking in the word and learning and educating themselves. And they have a passion. Those young children have a passion to be successful and to see something happen in their lives. And I just think it's great.
That's amazing. So I keep seeing lots of people saying that it's cutting in and out. So I'm just wondering, is that still the case now that I have? So I swapped over to a different microphone. Let me know. And if that's the case, I'm not quite sure what's going on. Seems like.
Yeah, as my friend would say, it is the devil. Anyway, and also, if I could just mention, our adopted son in Ghana, Hillary, been communicating with him. He's doing great.
Good to hear.
And he's building his little church there, and he's just doing great. Just people that we've met along the way that keep in contact with us, and just pray for these people that are out there on the mission field.
Well, that's really great to hear. And then I think everybody's saying now that it's the sound is okay now, so I'm not quite sure what the deal was, but I hope they got the gist of a lot of what you said about.
Do you want me to go back and do it again?
About what was going on. The other ones were, and these are, especially when the Israel couple. So Vanessa and Michael. For those of you that went to Israel with us, will know that the worship song that we played from Israel was in the church called King of Kings. And King of Kings, we visited there. We were able to be in service with them. And then the couple, Michael and Vanessa, that spoke from Israel on Sunday, we spent quite a bit of time with. They shared worship with us.
Yeah.
And it was just really nice. And then they showed us a little bit around the city. And so they have a lot going on as well. And you guys heard about all of the just the bombs and the stuff going on. I mean, I just want to really bring a little reality. And I know, a few people said this to me on Sunday, but just thinking about the fact that, they were saying that they were having to live in a bomb shelter for quite some time, and even still worshiping down there, reading the Bible down there. Really sad, isn't it, to think that sometimes we find it very difficult, to just go across town to church. That's independent of, I understand what's all is going on with COVID, but I'm just saying people who, have those major struggles of what they go through with bombings and things like that. And, I mean, gosh, he was saying, I think, in 5,000 missiles that had been sent over from Hamas. And just thinking about how would you feel even if just one missile came over?
Yeah.
Imagine 5,000.
It's a whole different world.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't appreciate what can go on. But the Jewish nation, they are so resilient.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
just pick themselves up and get on with it. As you know, when I lived in America, I used to work with Dr. Mike Evans, the president of the Jerusalem prayer team. And so for some time, I had the privilege of working in the United States with Michael, building up funds and funding for the Jerusalem prayer team, which is still going on. In fact, Michael was in Jerusalem yesterday. He was having meetings with some of the leaders there in Jerusalem yesterday, trying to see what he can do from his organization to help rebuild some of these homes, help these people that don't have a lot of money. We think, when we think of Israel, sometimes we forget, we think because it's Israel that they've got lots of money.
Right.
Let me tell you, and those of you that went with us could see that they are not as rich as probably we think they are sometimes, and we get a wrong concept. So again, Israel just needs lots and lots of prayer that the people there will be protected, and this fighting will just come at the moment. They said on the video on Sunday that at the moment there's a ceasefire, but it seems to be quite a fragile thing, and that was one of the reasons why Michael was there yesterday, meeting with people to see what he could do in helping, because he negotiates with some of these people. So keep Israel in your prayers.
Yes, and those of you that, are Christians and you understand the connection with us, with Israel, very, very important to keep Israel in your prayers and to constantly, be looking out for them and thinking about them. I had asked for some testimonies, so I wanted to go back up here because I saw where Mark had shared one. He said, I was fishing a couple of Wednesdays ago, watched Word Up Wednesday out loud. A man came along, asked what I was watching, so I told him church. So a big seed planted.
Amen.
And well done, Mark. So this is the good news, isn't it, about online stuff? No matter where we are, we can watch church, can't we? Or we can see stuff like this. So very interesting. And I see Louise has put her father was Jewish. So,
wonderful.
I'm sure that really then meant a lot to you, Louise, about being able to watch that. And yes, Sonny, I see you're saying pray for the peace of Jerusalem and for all of Israel. We should constantly be praying for the peace of Jerusalem and for Israel, and do pray for that couple. So if you guys have any questions, everyone that was on the broadcast on Sunday for International Sunday, except for Zach Williams, I'm sorry, I can't claim the fame to knowing him, but anyone else that that we had on the International Day just this past Sunday, would love, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask. We'd love to answer them because we know all the rest of them personally.
Yeah.
Or maybe just if you're curious about, maybe you missed something or you'd like to know what's going on in some of those parts of the world. Let's jump over to Colombia because we had Edwin. Edwin's very special to us. When we moved to Colombia, we met Edwin. Edwin was very, obviously he was a lot younger, and he was just coming along and really didn't have any idea what he wanted to do with his life, and obviously spoke zero English when we met him. So that would be 8 years ago.
No, but we met Edwin in we left Colombia in 2012, okay, and we were there for just under 6 years. We met Edwin a lot. We've known Edwin since I knew Edwin when he was just going into university.
Right. So he has a special place in our heart. And obviously now where he lives in the capital city, things are still really up in the air. They keep progressively at times right now getting worse. He has, and Pastor Daniel, nice to see you, Pastor Daniel. I hadn't seen you pop up yet. So he's saying, great guy, love his heart for God. Edwin, he was translating for Pastor Daniel in one of the churches, and he did a lot of personal translation, helping Daniel and Laura and Mark and Rachel while we were there. Definitely has a real heart for God. And he had
a good English teacher.
He had a good English teacher, didn't he? Yeah, that was you. I know, everybody.
I was talking to him yesterday. He and I meet every 2 weeks on a Tuesday, and it is amazing what some people will do just to be a part of what we're doing here. He's never been here, but he's met, as Wynelle said, he's met Pastor Daniel and Laura, Mark, and Rachel. And obviously he knows us because we lived there for many years, but he feels he's a part of us. He feels he's a part of CLC. And on Tuesdays, once a fortnight, he meets me at 6:30 a.m. in the morning, his time.
Wow.
And we spend time together. We talk, we pray together, and we talk about the word. And then he says at 7 o'clock, his time, gotta go now. He goes, and immediately he goes off to work. And obviously he stays in his home and he works online. But man, he is so keen to meet and to pray and just a fellowship and to talk. Such a great guy. And as Pastor Daniel says, has a great heart for the Lord. He loves Jesus. And he was just telling me that this past weekend, one of his aunts was in a car accident. And she and her husband went directly into a lamppost. He heard about it, and he said, I put my shoes on and I ran to the hospital. And he said, I knew I had to get there because all I had to do was just pray, and I knew God would work a miracle. Well, the miracle is this. Sorry, I got a bit emotional then, but you were just listening to him yesterday. The fact that he just ran to the hospital. He didn't stop and think, shall I get a taxi? Shall I get a bus? He just ran. He ran all the way there, prayed for his aunt, and praise God. On Monday, he got a phone call to say his aunt because she was unconscious, had woken up.
Wow.
And the doctors are saying that she's going to come through this, and she just had some concussion. Her husband was okay. He just had a bit of bruising. But, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Just being there for your family as well. But to see these young men on fire for God. And right now, when I was talking to him just 2 weeks ago, just a few streets away from him, there was a massive protest, and you could hear it. People banging cymbals and drums and banging dustbin lids and all sorts of, because they're fighting against the government over different things to do with COVID and taxes or whatever. The tax situation has sorted itself out, but it's so good to know these people around the world who are on fire for God. And I can't wait for the day when we can get Edwin to come here to CLC and spend some time with us and do a bit of fishing with Mark. So,
we'd love to bring Edwin here, and even if it's just for a short amount of time. And so we've got that on our books, on our radar. And just wanted to say that was a great testimony, wasn't it, about what God did for them? And I see a lot of you praising the Lord for that.
Yeah.
So just bless Edwin, and when you think about that, and just think about how that he's just getting along there. I see Julie Keeping saying about it was lovely to hear Laura singing in another language, which she did.
Espanol.
Yes, she did that last year as well. So it was really, really nice to hear her doing that. And I was really proud of her because half of it she memorized.
Yeah.
So was just really nice. So was lovely to see the team stepping out. We hope to see them next year for International Day step out even more to do some things for International Day, and hopefully next year. Obviously, we missed a part of being able to have all the different food there. And, just being able to celebrate International Day in that fashion. It will be amazing in 2022 if we can bring that back.
Praise the Lord. So let's get on an airplane and go to Texas.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if we get to Texas, Debbie Tran won't be in Texas because she's taken off. But, you know, Debbie was with us on Sunday, and she was talking to us from a town called Granbury, where you have family. And it's a small town in Texas, beautiful place. And she was there, but I was in communication with her yesterday. She jumped on an airplane, and now she's taken off to another state. And the great thing about it is she's been there for quite some time. She is moving and shaking. She was meeting with some high up, I think one of the senators.
Yeah,
today.
She was asked to bless, and the senator was being put into office in South Dakota, and Debbie Tran was asked to bless him and pray over him as he stepped in to the office as senator. So I thought that was amazing.
I think it's amazing that there she is visiting from Vietnam. She's been a lot of the time in the state of Texas, bringing prophetic words to the churches, to the pastors, and different other things. And she has traveled a little bit around the place. But you know, today, fantastic, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Praying for one of the senators, and also we mustn't forget her country.
Yes.
And we must continue to hold them up in prayer. At this time, I think they have escaped a lot of the situation with COVID, but there are still situations there. And for that area right across, into China, into Japan, and various other places, they need our prayer. They need our prayers.
I know. I was speaking to one of our, we have Dr. Genevieve, who attends our church. She's from Malaysia.
Mm-hmm.
And she was telling me that they're needing a lot of prayer for Malaysia as well because of the increase of, the disease there and just the struggles. And I think all of us have to remember that where these countries are struggling is it's not just the disease of COVID, but it's the fact that there's no vaccinations.
Mm-hmm.
There's not care for the people who need it. So that's where a lot of the struggle. And, we were blessed. We had things like furlough. Businesses were blessed as well here. I know it didn't solve everything, but we must remember that in other countries, there was not that kind of a blessing.
Absolutely. And, we complain about some of the things that we've gone through, and look at the amount of unfortunate deaths that we've had. In my opinion, just one person dying is tragic, but
absolutely
all the ones we had. And we've complained about all sorts of things, and we continue to complain. Yesterday, I was talking to one of my guys in Singapore, right? And right now, there are 8 people in Singapore that have got the infection, and guess what? Everything's closed down again.
Wow!
They're in complete lockdown. My guy there, Sergey, was laughing. He said, "Can you believe it?" He said 8 people, and we're in total lockdown again. And he was telling about all the different restrictions, the travel. You can't travel out of Singapore. If you do, you can't come back in. You can't come back in until 2022 now if you leave.
Wow.
If you're not a citizen and you leave and you travel off somewhere, anyway, I'm just saying we need to be grateful for what freedom we do have. Now, Singapore is not some kind of state that crushes you, but they are just being ultra careful on what's happening, and the people just have to smile and get on with it. And the guy that I meet with is obviously from Russia, so he's finding a whole new experience living there with his 2 children and his wife. They're both very high up in different businesses there, but he was just saying, you wouldn't believe it, we can't do anything.
Wow. Well, as we get ready to close up tonight, I just wanted to say to everyone, remember, thank the Lord tonight before you go to bed, and just give him praise for the fact that we are very blessed in this country, for, the things that we do have, even though there's still, a lot of sadness and things going on here as well. But we definitely are not in lots of situations where that is overseas. And obviously this is missional lifestyle. We're talking about missional lifestyles around the countries and, what's happening in the other parts of the world. So it's always good to be mindful of what is happening in other places. And also everyone that, that you saw on screen on Sunday and more, please do say a prayer for them and bless them and, ask God to protect them, to bring peace into their countries as well. I think that's really, really important.
Yeah.
And also, just encouraging you guys, begin to pray, because obviously we are believing that as we are starting to come out of our restrictions, we definitely, for 2022 and our next International Day, we would love to see our church flooded with people from all across the globe.
Mm-hmm.
And, we would love to see, I would love to see the day where we even need earpieces for people to be receiving the translation of the service in their language, in their ear. I think that would be such an amazing thing to happen, especially right here in England. So do be praying for those countries, and especially the ones we mentioned. So, Vietnam, Malaysia, Colombia. I see my pastor friend Rosy Gaona. Just so everybody knows right quick, she is the pastor of Templo Betel, which is a church in Leon. Paul and I have preached there many, 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 many times. Mark and Rachel went there with us as well, actually. Mark preached there.
Hola, Rosie. Hola.
And she's the pastor now. And she's a very, very close friend of mine. And she's just saying, hello, my beloved friends. How lovely it is to see you. We love you. And actually, they came and they visited CLC while they were here in England. So, buenas noches, Rosy. Te amo mucho y qué bueno que pudieras estar aquí con nosotros. So, guys, I hope you have an amazing rest of your evening. I hope you've enjoyed just this little update of what's going on around the world. We want to encourage you that, remember, we don't have Friday prayer now. We only have prayer on Tuesday. We are back on Sunday morning, 9, 10:30, and 6 online. And then we are in the building for Cafe Church at 10:30. Those of you that went, just quickly pop in the chat if you felt safe, if you felt like that we've done our part about keeping everybody safe and following the guidelines so that everybody feels that there's no problem coming to the service. We've got lovely tables laid out. We've even got chocolate on the table.
Ferrero Rocher.
And
Ferrero Rocher. Ooh. I tell you what, the pastor's wife, she knows how to do it. When I walked in there and saw the Ferrero Rocher, I thought, I'm coming to this church again.
But and we are offering, you can order on our app right there in Cafe Church while watching on the screen. You can get teas, coffee, snacks. This is your only opportunity next Sunday, this coming Sunday, and one more. So Linda Rodale saying felt very safe. So love that. So just want to encourage you guys, come out. Doors open at 10. We would love to have you so you can watch on the big screen with us. Well, God bless all of you. And I see more of you just putting felt totally 100% safe at all times. And lovely to see that. So I hope that encourages those of you that are around in the area to come out and join us. And just quickly, Pastor Daniel's sharing a book with us, Operation World, the definitive prayer guide to every nation. So he said it's a great book for anyone wanting to pray for the nation. So I'll just leave that up there as we go. And hope to see you on Sunday. We love you. We miss you. God bless you. And yes, see you on El Domingo.
Adios, amigos.